everybody. Welcome back to Morsel Media. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
And today we're reviewing the season finale of The Mandalorian, Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Yep.
Big old 8. You know, when I was watching this episode, I was all set to take notes.
Uh-huh.
And I got so into it.
You didn't take any
I
notes.
didn't take
I know.
a single note.
So guess who's leading this conversation?
I was just like, from like 3 minutes in
Yeah.
till the end, I was just like,
Yeah.
you know, and I guess like that's what you want, right? You know.
Well, I mean, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah, as soon as it drops.
And so when I'm watching it with you, it's my second or third viewing. Fourth or fifth, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just sorry about that, but that's how it is.
No, I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. It's just, you know, I totally got sucked right into it. Like, you know, I mean, the show just, it picks up where we left off with like all this tension build up, and you know, the Mandalorian is still pinned down in this little bar.
Before that, though.
With
comedy relief before that, with the two troopers.
Oh yeah. So it opens with the stormtroopers on the speed bikes.
Yeah.
They're the ones that captured Baby Yoda, right? And so they're approaching the town, the speed bikes, and they basically take a pit stop. One gets on a communicator and radios in to see if they're ready for him to come in.
Yeah, they stop right outside of town.
Yeah.
And like the guy over the radio is like, yeah, you don't want to come back here right now because he just like killed a whole squad of people just to prove a point.
Right.
And it was like, oh, okay. Oh, and he just interviewed. He just shot an officer for interrupting him. Yeah. So it's probably not a good time.
Yeah.
So I think one of them's Jason Sudeikis. I'm not sure who the other one is.
Okay.
And Jason Sudeikis is a jerk. He like punches Baby Yoda in the head at least 3 times,
straight down
through the bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what a jerk. But I mean, it's funny. And what ends up happening is IG-11 shows up, and if I keep saying IG-88, I'm so sorry, but IG-11 shows up and is like, I must protect her, and I'm a nurse droid, so I must protect my charge. Who's the Baby Yoda? And he fucking decimates those people.
He does, and it's funny because like you can see like they're kind of BSing. They're like, you know, they're obviously annoyed. The one guy's complaining that he hasn't seen what they caught. He wants to see it. Jason Sudeikis stormtrooper is like, no. He's like, I barely saw it. I picked it up and threw it in the sack. Like, I'm like, this dude, you know, this dude down in the town is killing people for, you know, having their shoes tied the wrong way.
Yeah.
You know, and let's not like risk anything. So they're sitting there. They're obviously getting bored. The little bit of meta humor that you pointed out there, like.
Oh yeah, well there's a little like. I don't know, can of something or just a piece of metal. Yeah. But they both pull out their little tiny like pistols and they start shooting at it, and they both miss horribly. To the point where the one's like shaking the gun, like, does this not work right? Or no, it's just you're a stormtrooper, you suck. F you, buddy. So that happens, and then IG-88 comes, destroys them, and then he picks up Baby Yoda and he hops on the speeder bike, and you see him start driving towards town.
Yeah.
Well, cut to Mando, Cara, and Greef
stuck in there,
still stuck in the cantina, or wherever it was, or they were meeting Werner Herzog, and outside is Moff Gideon, and he's like he loves monologues. This episode, he's a big fan of monologues, I guess, and he's like, we're currently putting together an E-Web disruptor repeater cannon or like something like that. And he's like, and then he names each and every time that one of those people might have come in contact with one of those.
Right.
And he names our characters. Right. So it's Cara Cynthia, it's Cara Cynthia Dune, Greef Karga, and then like Jin Jaro or something like that.
Yarden. It's DJ, but it's Yarden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
DJ. Okay. Din Yarden.
It's
Din Yarden.
Din Yarden.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just call him Mandalorian, whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry. So they're looking around for a way to escape. They find the sewer exit, and they can't blow it up because they're out of charges. So Cara starts shooting at it, which is when Moff Gideon starts his eloquent speech.
Yeah.
And finally he's like, "I'll give you until nightfall, and then we'll end up just blowing blowing the whole building down. With
the guy that plays Moff Gideon has been around has been in a good couple shows. I remember.
Is it Gustavo something?
I think it's something Giancarlo.
Giancarlo, thank you. Gustavo. Giancarlo.
Yeah, I forget if that's his first name or last name, but
Gus from Breaking Bad.
Yeah, he was in Breaking Bad. He was also in a short-lived J.J. Abrams show called Revolution.
Okay.
It wasn't particularly good, but he has a tendency. I think his acting style has a lens to that type of like almost mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
They definitely leaned into that here.
But
it worked because I think you're seeing that he doesn't want to risk harming the asset, the child. But he's obviously not going to stay to his word. He just wants easy entrance into it. He doesn't want to have to destroy the baby, Baby Yoda. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of like grand monologuing.
Yeah. So right after the monologue, Mando talks to Cara and Greef, and he ends up a little exposition happens. We finally get to see who rescued him from the hole when his parents put in.
Yeah.
And it was a Mandalorian from Death Watch. You can see the sigil on the armor, and they're blue. And watch the other shows, and you'll know that I'm right, and everybody else said it is right too. So,
what is that? What exactly?
It's the sigil. It's the Death Watch. They live on the moon. They're like the last warrior Mandalorians because the other Mandalorians were being pacifists.
Oh, okay.
So the fact that there was a great Mandalorian purge was probably not a good thing.
Yeah, right.
Because they probably were able to be wiped out to completion with no problem because they were pacifists.
Right.
Or at least they were for a couple hundred years.
Oh, that's a pretty long time to be a pacifist.
Yeah, and then like the moon is the moon. So now everybody who's on the moon is in hiding, but that doesn't matter. Okay. Sorry. So, yeah, we end up seeing that. We end up seeing him get rescued by the Mandalorians. He said that they trained me in their fighting teams or whatever, and then they gave me a helmet, and it's not being a Mandalorian isn't it's not a race or anything. It's a creed.
Right.
Like anybody can be a Mandalorian. You don't have to be human. You don't have to be whatever.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because to me it seemed relatively obvious, but I don't know what about the Mandalorian culture is out there in the vast culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, like in the in-universe culture, I don't know what details of the Mandalorians anybody else knows that aren't just like vague legends.
Yeah.
It seems to be somewhat similar like Jedis, where, not in the sense of like the Force or whatever, but what I mean is like,
they're few and far between now, so
they're
the same thing as the Jedi. They're as rare as Jedi now, if not more.
Yeah,
if not more rare. Well, probably a little less rare, but they only come out one at a time, so you'd think they'd be even more.
Yes, there's definitely a lack of Mandalorian culture.
So they're having this bit of exposition, and then you hear you hear like a rumble in the distance, and some of the stormtroopers look off in the distance. And then it cuts to IG-88 coming towards the town.
Right.
There's the same three stormtroopers that were there last episode are there again, and he opens fire with the speeder bike, kills all three of them.
Yeah,
he's like, I must nurse and protect. Must nurse and protect.
Yeah, he's stuck in his protocols again.
Yeah,
but
so he's driving through all the alleyways, just taking people out. Finally gets to where they're at and starts taking out all of the. It cuts back to the Mandalorian and his group real quick and shows all the stormtroopers like turning in one direction because of the big boom right away. And so then IG-88 with Yoda in a bag on his back comes out and starts murking people again with his robot guns. It's like Equilibrium. Remember that movie Equilibrium with what's his face?
What's his face?
Yeah, Batman. Fucking Batman guy. What's your name, dude?
Christian Bale.
You, the guy who got mad in Terminator. Yeah, your face.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. What?
What did he get in Terminator?
Someone pissed him off in the Terminator. He was like, "Oh, you're my fucking shot!"
I want you off the fucking set, you prick! No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 fucking second. The fuck are you doing? Are you professional or not? Do I fucking walk around and rip that? No, shut the fuck up, Bruce.
All right, what if I came to your work all day and stood in your shot in the background? What are you gonna do about it? He didn't sound anything like that because he's British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that with a British accent is probably
Pretty
exactly him.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So they decide to like shoot their way out, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
So now that IG-11's in there, like causing havoc, like
he's right outside. He's shooting. So Mando goes out. He gets shot in the shoulder. No, it doesn't phase him because it's boom right off the Beskar.
Yep.
Takes it. They start taking out a bunch.
Well, before he jumps out, he asks Cara to cover him.
Yeah.
Cara jumps on top.
So she does.
She jumps on top of the bar with less fear because they're no longer focusing on this little cantina, this little bar. They're focusing on IG-11. So all the stormtroopers are looking at IG-11. Cara jumps on. She's got her Gatling blaster. She starts blasting, and then as that's happened, the Mandalorian comes out. He takes a shot in the shoulder. Beskar doesn't bother him. He blasts the guy like right next to him at the same time.
Yeah.
He just starts. He's full blown Mandalorian. Top notch shooter at this point. Just taking people out.
So they're both doing that, and then call back to the first episode. Mando ends up running over to a huge cannon and picks that up and starts taking out stormtroopers with it again.
Yeah.
But Moff Gideon is like, I don't think so, and aims the Mandalorian, who goes to shoot Moff Gideon, but then Moff Gideon goes nope and shoots the power pack next to him, which right next to him, which blows him up, blows him pretty much back to the door. To where Cara Dune's able to grab him.
Yeah, she has
to
come
So everybody
out and
falls back. She comes out and grabs him, just picks him up. She has to pick him up dead weight and drag him.
Yes.
So that's another thing of how strong Cara Dune is. She's just like dead weight picking him up. He's unconscious. Mm-hmm. So it ends up being that he's hurt pretty bad.
Hurt really bad.
She puts him down inside and brings her hand away from the back of his.
Got blood all over
and she got blood all over his hand, or her hands. And he's like, I know I'm done. I'm done. Whatever. You gotta keep going. You gotta go save the kid. You gotta do this. Gives her like a thing. It's like go. The Mandalorians go through the sewers.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. And Grief Karga talks to IG-11 over by the sewers.
Right.
And he's like, "Can you do this?" And he's like, "Yeah, give me a second."
Yeah.
And so IG-11 little like blowtorch and starts doing that. In the meantime, Moff Gideon is like sending an incinerator trooper.
Yeah, he gets the flamethrower guy.
Yeah.
He's got really cool red markings on the stormtrooper thing.
He seemed a little like wider.
Yeah, it was definitely
head,
wider.
Like wider in the head and the top.
Bigger. It was a bigger dude.
Yeah.
And as soon as they show him, the film slows down.
Yeah.
The dramatic music builds up. It's very, very dramatic. It's almost a little silly dramatic, but it's so fun in that section where you see him like. He's coming in. He's got his like the red striping around the mouth. That mask is a little bit bigger. Big guy comes walking in. Everything's in slow motion. There's smoke rising up. You see the pilot light on the flamethrower. He hits the cantina from the outside through the window.
Everybody ducks.
Yeah, everybody ducks, but everything's on fire at this point. Like low fire, like maybe that high off the ground. But then he's at the door, he's in the door, and he's standing there. And what do you see is...
Baby Yoda. Yep. Yeah, so he walks in and he blows a fireball at Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
And Baby Yoda's like, nope, and uses both hands and just holds it.
Yeah.
And like lets it collect from the guy. And the guy like stops kind of firing. And then it just kind of collects, and Baby Yoda's just like...
pushes it back.
And pushes it back, and the guy just kind of explodes, but
he's immolated.
Yeah, he's done. He's done. So Cara Dune's freaking out. She's like, IG-88, take care of the Mando. You need to bring him with us. Like no matter what, you need to bring him. Mm-hmm. So IG-88 is like, take the child, go. You know, I'll take care of Mando. So we have the one of the best. I think what we would call one of the best moments of the season. Will he? Won't he? And. He will, and it's only because IG-88 is not a living being.
Right.
So IG-88 says, I have to take off your helmet to treat your brain to save your life, which I can do, but you need to take your helmet off. Right. And Mandalorian is being a stubborn ass, and he's like, no,
this is the way.
Yeah. And he's like, look, I'm not, and then like IG-88 is like, I'm not a living being, I'm just a bunch of processes.
Yeah.
Take off your helmet, and like, you can turn me off. Like, you can literally turn me off and on again, I'm not a living being. And Mando's like, all right, fine. So he does. He takes back the spray, and IG-11. I keep saying IG-88, don't we? We keep doing it, but it's fine. IG-11 sprays the back of his head with Bacta, and he's like, you'll be healed. He literally says the exposition line.
Yeah.
You'll be healed back to full health in a couple of hours.
Right.
Which is what's back to supposed to be great for.
I almost wish they had like popped up a timer in the little corner.
Yeah, right? Yeah, like, it's a countdown.
Because it's like, you know, like you see it later on in the episode. It's obviously, it's been maybe like, what, let's say 2-3 hours, and he's like, you know, walking on his own. But yeah, I mean, that was, I like the line from IG-11 where he's like, you have damage to your central processing unit. And he's like, do you mean my brain?
Yeah. He's like, that was a joke. It was supposed to make you feel at ease. Takeshi Waititi, good job with that like deadpan delivery. Mm-hmm. I liked it.
And you finally see the Mandalorian's face, and my first thought was like, I thought he'd be skinnier.
Yeah, right? Well, he's laying down, so his face is pulled back. It's a little wider, I guess. But yeah, so Kara and Grief and Yoda Baby are in the sewers, and they end up getting caught up too by IG-11 and the Mandalorian.
He's like using he's leaning on.
Yeah, he's leaning on him, but
which for one thing tells you a big thing at this point, because this is the guy that didn't want droids
at all.
Droids near him.
Yeah,
didn't want them in. You know, it was episode 1 with the speeder. Wouldn't even take one as a driver. You know,
even as late as episode 5 with that guy, with that one guy. But yeah, the armor is pretty much like, you know, I gotta take the stuff and melt it down. So it's like the merchant that they end up meeting in you know, right before a boss fight in Resident Evil or some other video game. Like they end up going in, they talk to her. She's like, "What's going on? Is this Baby Yoda, the thing that helped you, the enemy that helped you?" He was like, "Yep." And she was like, "With the Mudhorn?" He was like, "Yeah." So she ends up giving him a sigil. So she ends up giving him his sigil eventually, which right there, and it's the Mudhorn, and she's like, "You two have earned it because, according to the Mandalorian law, this Baby Yoda is a foundling now, and you're to act like his father.
Yeah.
So you're a clan of 2. You're the Mudhorn clan. Congratulations."
Yep.
And then she tells him to like re-up on his ordnance, which is like some of those bombs he's been using all season. Possibly the Whispering Birds too. I didn't see that though.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you only specifically see him take the little tiny, you know, self-adhesive bombs. Yeah, like he wants to stay and help the armorer take care of like the basically the remnants of the Mandalorians, their armor. So there's something that they do that's, you know, part of the creed that they do with the armor. It looks like they melt it back down.
Yeah, they must melt it back down and keep it in. They probably, if it's Beskar, they're going to keep it to themselves.
Right. So they don't bury it. They don't. You know, they melt it back down to be used again.
It's almost like Warhammer 40K with the gene seed. If you know anything about that, no big deal. So they end up re-upping on their ammo, and they go on their way. At one point, the armor is like, "IG, go protect us real quick because I hear some stormtroopers coming."
Right.
And he like goes and you hear pew 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 pew, and he comes back. He's like, "You are protected."
Yeah.
And it was just like, okay, cool. Yeah. So they make their way down to it, like the lava river that we see flowing through very near this town this whole time, this whole season. When we cut back to Nevera, this little outpost, and they hop into the boat after Cara Dune finally shoots the lava rock away from the side of it. Out of nowhere, this in the back there's like a little R2 droid,
it comes like,
but it stands up. It's a big old.
It comes out of like a thick thing of like crumbled rock. It's like, you know,
it's lava rock.
Lava rock, and so it breaks out of that and stands up, and
it's got big arms and a big stick to push the thing.
It's a ferryman. Mm-hmm. And they ask him.
Which is very interesting, isn't it, ferryman? And then for what happens literally right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, for some reason that droid is either malfunctioning or it has...
Well, probably malfunctioning because of what happens next.
Right.
Sorry, spoilers. I don't know.
So they ask the ferry droid, this R2 unit, to take them out of the, you know, down to whatever.
So the lava river opening. Yeah.
And so they're on their way down. The Mando's kind of he's getting back to, you know, fully operational.
Yeah.
He's using his visor and he notes that there's like
stormtroopers,
a good amount of them, like waiting right outside the exit of this tunnel, and they really, like, at that point this R2 unit won't stop. Like, Cara Dune's asking him repeatedly to stop, and it's not. So she takes its head off.
Yeah, she literally walks over and blows its head off.
Yeah, she blows its head off.
And it still doesn't stop, so it's
stop,
inevitable that they're going to keep going. They can't stop and plan. IG-88 looks at Mando, and he's like, there's no outcome where the child survives.
Right.
Unless I do what I think I need to do.
Right.
And I also can't be captured, and that's still part of my protocol.
Yep.
So you need to tell me that you're going to take care of the child so that I can take care of my secondary protocol. And the Mando's like, no, you don't. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that.
He's getting like...
And IG-11's like, you need to be sad. And Mando's like, I'm not sad. And it's like, yes, you are. I analyzed your voice. And it's like, okay, all right, fine. And then he decides to do just that. He crawls over and walks out the entrance, and the stormtroopers like right here turn around, and he's like, I cannot be captured, and his thing opens up, and he just blows up like 14 stormtroopers.
I loved when he stepped into the lava, and you see the metal start like instantly heating up, like at the knee joint, and like he's not even at the mouth of the cave, and he's like already starting to collapse from the heat of the lava, and he's like not even trying to like shoot any of them.
Oh, no.
He's just like melting into the lava, and he gets to the mouth, and it just comes out, and it's just boom, boom, and it's just like, it's a big ass explosion. It just decimates these stormtroopers, and so the rest of the group make it out, and they're out now, but here comes what type of TIE fighter. I always call it it's the Darth Vader ship to me.
Oh, no, the Darth Vader ship has the normal TIE fighter straight up and down. So that is Darth Vader's, but normal TIE fighter, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's TIE fighter advanced.
Oh, yeah. Sweet.
Nerd.
Yeah,
right? I know. Hey, the TIE fighter advanced. No, but yeah, so they finally come out into the, like you're saying, it just boom.
Yeah.
And then they out of or not out of nowhere, but they hear the noise of the TIE fighter, and Cara Dune looks up and sees it, and it does a flanking run, and they start shooting at it. Yeah. And we held it back, but Mandalorian got the Rising Phoenix jetpack. They call it the Rising Phoenix.
Right.
When he like re-uploaded his ammo and stuff at the armor a moment ago. So he puts that on, and he pretty much plays chicken with the TIE fighter. The TIE fighter's coming in, and Mando shoots up above it, and then turns around and grapples it, and then has it pull him.
Right.
And the sequence is very quick, and it's very well done, and it pretty much looks like Gideon is like circling where the kid still is. Like he's not like just driving off in a straight line, because he crashes relatively near where, you know what I mean?
Yep.
In a moment. Because Mando takes one of those, like, I just got this from the armor, bombs, and, sticks it on there, blows the wing off, and he crashes.
Yeah.
And that's that, they take care of the big bad for this week.
Yeah, it was cool. It was done well. Like, I liked how he uses his grappling to, like, get onto the ship, and was taken for a bit of a rough ride before he was able to get that bomb on there. And then, you almost think he's gonna go for the dude directly in the cockpit, but then like Moss, or what's his name again? Moff
Gideon.
Moff Gideon does some fancy piloting and is like flinging Mandalorian back and forth, but he finally gets the bomb planted onto the wing. He drops off. The bomb explodes. The TIE fighter TIE fighter spirals down, crashes. Mando lands. They do that little jump, like that little scare thing where his jetpack's not firing. And then it finally fires, and he comes. It's very down. Iron Man one. It's like, okay, Jon Favreau.
He was like,
we know where you got that shot from.
Got it. Yeah. I almost want to go back and see if the CGI lines up for one of the Iron Man movies. Like just the skeleton model.
A slightly different angle. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he takes a little bit of a rough landing, but he's fine. Mm-hmm. So, they're standing there, and sudden like Grief goes into this like almost like a little bit of a monologue. How he's like basically what they've done over the last few days has cleaned up the planet.
Yeah, and that he's welcome back into the Bounty Hunter Guild, and that Cara Dune is not, and that she's probably going to become a bounty hunter too, but she has to take care of her what is it called? What was the chain code?
Chain code.
And Grief Karga was like, look, if you just want to be my bodyguard, which is pretty much what he said, if you want to be my enforcer, like I can take care of whatever it is that you need. And then he told the Mando, you're welcome back whenever you want into the guild, with the guild whenever you want. Go take care of your stuff.
Right.
Mando's like, he's holding Baby Yoda in his hand. He's like, I have other things to take care of at the moment, and maybe
baby.
Yeah, pretty much. So he says goodbye to Grief and Cara, or Cara Dune, and he Rising Phoenix jetpacks back to his ship. They get on there, and they kind of peace out. Oh, he does bury Queel.
Yeah, Queel.
And then they get on the ship, and they
fly off into
the distance. It seems, but as it's flying off into the distance, the camera pans over, and there's the crashed TIE fighter, and there's some Jawas
already picking at
it. Yeah. And then you see like boom, and then you see like this white and black staticky kind of thing shoot out and start cutting through like a lightsaber. And Moff Gideon comes out and he's holding the goddamn Darksaber, which is a big deal. A big deal. Because we don't know where it's been for like 30 years in canon right now. So, alright, how did it get there? Well, the Great Purge somehow must have gotten it there. We'll see. But that's the ending shot of the season.
Cool. He's
standing with it, like above, like on his destroyed, like, you know, you could tell vowing revenge or vowing whatever.
I mean, that actor is too big of a name at this point to not have, to only have him in
he's coming back for next season.
Yeah, 2 or 3 episodes. So it seems like he's probably the overarching, you know, bad guy for at least a few episodes in the next season. But I love that shot at the end of him standing there with that dark saber, you call it?
Yeah, it's called the dark saber.
That was really cool. It was really well done. I didn't recognize it. I was like, is that a lightsaber?
It is a lightsaber, but it's like one of the first lightsabers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's whoever holds it leads the Mandalorians.
Oh, wow.
That's typically how it works.
Right.
So now you've got Moff Gideon. Like,
how did he get it?
Yeah.
Where did he get it from?
You know, and what is he like? Why didn't he just pull it out and see what the Mandalorians did? But who knows what's going on? All right, so I want to go and I want to ask you what you thought of this episode, and then what you thought of the series as a whole, and then out of 10, both of them.
Okay.
Go.
All right, so for this episode, I really felt like this was a really good ending to the series. I would give it a 9 out of 10 for this particular episode. I didn't have none of the issues that I've had, even with the previous episode being a really high score. None of those little nitpicks were there. Like tiny little nitpicks here and there, but nothing major. Well executed, well acted, well plotted. Hit on all the notes that you wanted to hit on. Obviously had throwbacks to deep lore.
Yeah.
That I don't necessarily know, but
deep cuts.
You know, that makes it even better that they're able to execute on that stuff. So this episode 8, is a 9 to me, and overall, when I look at this series, I would say it's a solid 8 for a series. The middle lags a little bit. 4, 5, and 6, and even a little bit in the 7 have a little bit of lag. I think number 6 could probably have been removed, and it wouldn't have affected the story at all. You know, other little things, at least you get the character building, but nothing happens in episode 6 that really is continued. So I don't know if they're going to bring back those characters to harass him later in season 2 somehow, if they're going to be recurring. But self-contained in the season, that little bit of a lull, I think, knocks it down from, you know, like a 9 and possibly even like, you know, a 9, you know, a 9 plus to an 8, because with only 8 episodes, every episode really should have been devoted mostly to servicing the major plot.
Yeah.
You know, and then the plot is the skeleton of each episode, and then you build character and action on top of that, and then you know you can really even feel it when you're watching the show, that when you get to 5 and 6, you kind of lose that skeleton a little bit.
A little bit.
It wavers. But again, very enjoyable. I wasn't sure I was going to like a drama formatted basically a half an hour show. I know the last couple episodes were a little longer, but not significantly longer.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last episode was like 42 minutes.
Something like that, yeah.
Episode 7 was like 35. So that was a little unusual. I think that adds a little bit of it makes it a little bit more dynamic in the pacing, but definitely in the middle was a little rocky. I'll tell you this: I'm looking forward, now that season 1 is done, to binge season 1 and like consume it in one shot and see how I feel about it then, and get like a second or third viewing on those middle episodes and see if they really still do feel that rough to me, instead of just the 1 or 2 viewings that I've had so far. And then, I'm already looking forward to season 2. So
I agree. I like the season as well overall. I'm going to give the episode itself a 9 out of 10. It wasn't perfect, but it was overall just great. A lot of action. Things that were set up in the episode 1 paid off now. There was callbacks from now as well, between episode 1.
Right.
I liked just all the practical effects with Baby Yoda and everything. So it was great. And then as a season, I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. Like you said, it hung up a little bit there on the middle episodes.
Yeah.
But overall, the pacing for the whole season was pretty good. And I like the practical effects and all the other aliens that they did. I just overall just a really good Star Wars experience, very positive. I'm walking away from this really looking forward to more, rather than questioning any sort of I have no question about my fandom right now.
Right.
This is the type of Star Wars for I want to say like not young adults, but like young adults to normal adults. It's dark and gritty, but it's still you're able to sit down and watch it with a child if you need to.
Right.
And it's not violent and it's not boring and stuff like that. So if they kill somebody, they disappear in a puff of smoke.
Right. Yeah.
Literally, like how much more childlike can you get on that? Flash a light, puff of smoke, and they're gone.
Yeah, and like they do a lot of cut angles where like the action is like there, and then it's just out of frame, and you hear something, but you're not. It could be, it could just be the door shutting and breaking the guy's horns versus what you're thinking is that the door shut and it crushed his head.
But because of that, it's open to a wider audience.
Yes,
and I think that's going to cause it to be more of a success than we even expected.
I mean, here's the thing: this is the flagship property of Disney Plus.
This and Kenobi,
and Star Wars on Disney Plus is a major thing to get subscribers, to retain subscribers. So I think they executed very well. I think there must have been a hell of a lot of pressure in all of these shoots because there's not a lot of time to tell this story.
No.
You're talking about a little over 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say 4.5 hours to tell this story, and there's definitely enough content and enough character in this story where you could have made some type of like Mandalorian trilogy of movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where each one of them would have gotten.
If this isn't even leading into it, I wouldn't be surprised if it's leading into it.
Right.
But okay, so you said 9 point. You said 9 out of 10.
9+ for the episode.
For the episode.
And 8 for the show.
The season. And I said the same exact thing.
Yep.
So yeah. All right. So you guys heard it here. It's a 9 out of 10 for the episode and an 8 out of 10 for the season. I'm Mike from Morsel Media.
I'm Matt.
Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and comment below, and let us know what else you want us to review. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.